And I've got my good friend, Mr. Kurt Mortenson, in the house. He's going to be talking a little bit about Bitcoin and crypto. And as you know, as you look at your asset allocation, as you look at your loan versus your own, you want a little bit of crypto in there. It's amazing. I look at crypto very, very differently than most people. I don't look at it as something that I'm trading. I'm not sure which one's going to do better. As you look at the different options to be able to invest, the first thing is I'm a big Warren Buffett fan. It was his birthday yesterday. He turned 93 years of age. I'm a big fan of Buffett. My dad's 4 days older than Buffett. I had my own mini Warren Buffett growing up. And Bitcoin and all of that is another way of literally moving money around the world. Now, you're listening to people talk about BRICS, which is the other countries around the world that want to start trading more in their own currency. Because right now, everything's using the US dollar as the reserve currency around the world. And they want to have the ability to be able to trade more in their own currency. That's really what BRICS is all about. But with that, as you can see, people are trading and goods and services all over the world. And one of the easy ways to be able to do that is with using Bitcoin. And I'm just going to give you my opinions on it. It's going to be a small portion. I'm not telling you what to do with your money, but as you are learning and earning with us, we have a crypto bank, a crypto coins, Buffett bucks, if you will, that you can earn, because we want you to have some crypto and we want you to have stock. And I'm a big believer in stock and real estate, millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of real estate. You're going to do all of it, but I want you to be exposed to it. And when you're doing Bitcoin, there's different ways to do it. I like Bitcoin because it's a way to transfer money around the world very fast and very easily, which we have been able to do. We've sent out just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of financial rewards all over the world using Coinbase because it's easy to be able to move money around the world. But I'm going to bring my friend Kurt Mortenson out first, and then I'm going to come back and talk to you a little bit about some of my other thoughts on using crypto. And again, it's a small portion of your asset allocation as part of your whole system. So Kurt, if you are in the house, let's bring him on and let's him go ahead and take over and talk a little bit about Bitcoin and crypto. Kurt, take it away.
All right, let's talk about crypto, Bitcoin, what's happening in the world, what you know, what you don't know, what is true that you know, what is false that you know, a lot of stuff going around about crypto. And stick around. Did you hear the news? You're getting free Bitcoin. The Success and Money Foundation is giving out Bitcoin. Hello, I would take Bitcoin over money any day. Wouldn't have to think about it at all. Inflation drags money down, and you'll find out that Bitcoin is deflationary, and you'll find out why here in a bit. So think about it. You can start with your own crypto, your own Bitcoin. Stick around, and you'll find out exactly how to do that. So let's get into it. This is not financial advice. This is I feel it as a portfolio, a balanced portfolio. I'm not saying put all your money into crypto. I'm just saying this is one of those things where you can diversify, but again, don't invest something that you can't afford. But let's talk about this new world of cryptocurrency. I want to kind of simplify, demystify what's going on in the world and what your friends might be saying. Is it true? Is it false? Is it fact? Is it fiction? And the reason I love this is the next big thing. If you remember the .com era where everything was going to websites and .com, that was the boom. This is the next one. So is this legit? Not legit? What have you heard? Let's talk about. And ways to get free crypto. Number one, the Success and Money Foundation. Number two, there are other ways to get free Bitcoin, free cryptocurrency. When you think about this term cryptocurrency or crypto, is crypto a currency, so money that you can spend, a commodity, a stock, or is it software? So think about that. We hear about this. A lot of people think, no, it's currency. You spend it. No, it is all of the above. Some cryptocurrency project, it's a currency. Like Bitcoin, it spends like money. Then there's a commodity. You look at Ethereum, it's a currency and a commodity. Some have used it as a stock offering. And some, the backbone is software. So think about this as we get into this. This is the age of disruptions. Airbnb, the largest hotel company in the world. But they don't own any hotels. Uber, the largest taxi company in the world. don't own any taxis. And Bitcoin, one of the largest currencies in the world, and there are no banks. This is the digital age. This is the age of disruption. And it's traditional for people to badmouth these new disruptions. It happened when electricity came out. All the gas companies like, no, it's going to blow up your houses. Or when cars came out, they were too dangerous, too stinky, too loud, and everybody was against it. But then the trend slowly changes. Same resistance to having a credit card, a Visa, that was a new thing. A microwave oven. And I remember my family being very slow to adopt a microwave oven because it's going to blow up the house. Even the internet took a while for people to adopt it. So just like the internet, cryptocurrency is not going away. Some quotes from two very successful millionaires, multi-millionaires. Mark Cuban says, Bitcoin's better than gold. No worries about storing it, easy to transfer, easy to trade, easy to convert, doesn't require an intermediary, can be fractionalized. Meaning not like gold, if I have a brick of gold, it's not fractionalized. I can't really break off a piece and pay you with it. That's fractionalization. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Bitcoin is booming. Bitcoin has the greatest upside with dollar dropping. Bitcoin and silver are the best investments. Fidelity Investment Group predict that Bitcoin will reach $1 million by 2030. That's each coin. And I'll tell you why here in a second. So let's go to definitions. Hopefully you've heard these before. So there's cryptocurrency. That's kind of the banner word for the whole industry. Altcoin is anything that's not Bitcoin. Bitcoin, there at the bottom, is the big daddy, the first one, the biggest of them all right now. And an altcoin then, and there's a lot of them out there, so an altcoin is anything that's not Bitcoin. It's short for alternative coin. There's the blockchain. That's the technology, the software that runs these crypto projects. And then we'll talk about Internet 3.0. That's the future of the internet. And blockchain and cryptocurrencies have a big part of that. So it's the future. Buckle up, hold on, get your free crypto. Let's talk about some different pieces to do this. So let's talk about Bitcoin since it was the first. It's what most people have heard about. Again, it's not the only coin out there. Bitcoin is one of those, it's just a currency. It's all it does. It's all it does. It's the most well known. And it's not like PayPal or Venmo or the type of apps where you share money with other people. Bitcoin is different because you don't need a bank or someone in the middle for that transaction. PayPal is getting a piece of that transaction. With Bitcoin, there's no third party needed. It can go from peer to peer anywhere in the world. So the goal here was to get away from governments and what they do to money. We'll talk about that. And help the unbankable, which was most of the world that didn't have access to a bank, or bank wouldn't loan them money or give them money. This allows anyone in the world with a cell phone or an internet access to be able to send currency anywhere in the world. So let's back up a little bit to make more sense. Bitcoin's been called digital gold, but let's talk about, first of all, the history of money. What is the history of money? It's only been a small part of our history where the government has to run money. It's always been before you just traded with your neighbor. I'll give you a goat for a sheep for a dog for for a chicken, whatever it is. You just trade. You barter, you trade. That's how things were done. You could barter with valuable items. I mean, think about it. Money, the history of money has been shells. It's been a piece of rock. It's been gold. It's been silver. A lot of variety. As long as it spends and people accept it. And then the government took over. They were going to be in charge of the money. I mean, look at gold. What makes gold valuable? The market decided it was valuable. So when you look at Bitcoin, it spends like money. I personally know people that have lived off Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies for over 5 years. That's all they use. So why is it growing? Why is it popular? Well, corrupt governments. Remember when Greece took money out of everyone's bank accounts? We know things happening in South America with hyperinflation, Venezuela, Mozambique, United States going off the gold standard with their money. What happened in the collapse of Afghanistan? A lot of their locals put their money into crypto because they knew it'd be safer than the local currency. In fact, El Salvador, their government has accepted Bitcoin as one of their currencies. We know with all these governments around the world running out of money, so they just print it. Hello, anybody's taking economics know the more money you print, the more supply you put in, increases inflation and the value of that currency. And all the institutional, the big boys, The big girls are getting into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as an investment. They're getting into it, they see the value, but a lot of the people that they're investing for want ways to put money into cryptocurrencies. Who are these institutional investors? Charles Schwab, JP Morgan, Grayscale, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, Fidelity, you can go on, Barclays Bank. Probably heard of Tesla taking Bitcoin, MicroStrategy spending all their money on Bitcoin. They're out there, they see the value, they don't want to store their money in the bank because with this type of inflation, that value of that money goes down as you're going to see Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies go up. So what is Bitcoin? Basically, this is just basic. It's decentralized digital currency. Let me explain it's one of these. It's currency, so it spends, it has value. It's digital. Even most banks now, most government currencies is digital. When the United States government decides to put $1 trillion into the economy, they didn't print that, they just went ding and created it. It is digital. So, and it's decentralized, what I call peer-to-peer network. Remember, we don't need a third party. Person to person, I can send money or Bitcoin to. So it's not, there's no central bank or government. It's owned by the internet. And you ask us, who owns the internet? Well, anybody who has a computer plugged into the internet kind of owns it. It has a server, owns it. It has a website. There's not one person that can say they own the internet. So decentralized just means there's no government, third party, bank running it. It's just run by the people. And being decentralized, it's transparent. Blockchain's an online ledger where you can see anytime who has what Bitcoin, who owns much, how much did they just spend. Now, you don't know the person, you just know that it happened. So that's the transparent ledger. So you don't know the person unless you know their personal wallet, but you know someone just spent $1 million on Bitcoin or did this. It's transparent, it's there. And the great thing about Bitcoin, it's never been hacked. You don't have to trust it because it's trustless, it just works. That's when you hear Bitcoin mining, miners are the validators. For example, if you went to an ATM in a foreign country, you needed some money. You put in your debit card and that ATM would check to see if you had that money. And if you did, it would give you the money you asked. And for doing that, they'd probably charge you $2 or $3. So what Bitcoin does is that you have, let's say, 10 random computers around the world that have to verify the transaction, that it's actually you, that it's actually real. And no one's been able to hack 10 random computers around the world. It just doesn't happen. They are random computers around the world. And those Bitcoin miners get a little Bitcoin for doing that, for validating that transaction. Never been hacked. So let's play a little game here. I call it Bitcoin Fact or Fiction because you hear a lot of stuff. And I'm telling you, a lot of it's bad. And I was there too. I thought this was the biggest scam, only used for drugs, worst thing ever, because that's what people were talking about. A lot of people were bad-mouthing it. And a lot of them were stockbrokers and bankers and people that were losing money because there's no commission for them in this Bitcoin. Now, they found a way around that now with these big institutions that charge you a little money up front to get you invested in Bitcoin, but that's a whole another story. So let's go through this and play Fact or Fiction so you can know when people talk about it or you do your research who's telling the truth and who has no clue. You can't spend it. Of course, we know that's fiction. We just talked about that. I have a Visa card in my wallet that only spends cryptocurrencies. That's how it is. It's a common thing right now. You just swipe with any credit card machine in the world and it takes it. So you can spend it. And remember, you don't have to have just one Bitcoin. You could have a piece of it. Just like you don't have to have a $100 bill. You can have a penny or a quarter or $1. Bitcoin is fractionalized like we talked about. So let's see how you do on this one. Fact or fiction? I can't hold on to it. And the answer is, that's true. It's digital. I guess you could print out your wallet address or Bitcoin digits and hold it if you wanted to, but you don't. Just like most of your money in your bank, you don't hold on to. It's digital. So that's true. Most of the money in the world is digital. Next one. Oh, it's only used for drugs. Huh. Well, that is fiction. I mean, just like when the internet came out, there was a lot of junk, a lot of corrupt people. And that was true with Bitcoin. There was a website on the dark web that was used to buy drugs with Bitcoin. It used to. They've shut it down. Or you might hear only terrorists use it. Well, some do. It has great use. Just like if a terrorist uses cash, that's a bad application. So you use cash to pay your rent. or your home mortgage, that's a good thing. All right, how you doing? You want the next one? It's not backed by government. Talked about it. That's a good thing. Governments are corrupt. They're printing money. They steal it out of your own bank accounts. Okay, I mean, some governments are more corrupt than others, obviously, but that is a good thing. So, that is a fact. It's not. And that's what makes the governments mad. A lot of governments are trying to shut it down. But then a lot of governments realize it's not going away. Like Hong Kong's a mecca for cryptocurrency, Singapore, London. The United States is probably more in the middle. Now you have a lot of governments creating their own cryptocurrencies. Did you notice PayPal just created their own cryptocurrency? Did you know that you can buy Bitcoin on Venmo and PayPal, and soon X or Twitter is going to have a cryptocurrency? They go back and forth on what it's going to be, but they're gearing up for something big. It's volatile. Well, it's true. Just like any new asset class, it's pretty volatile. But that's, again, similar to .com. I can show you the Bitcoin charts, very similar to Amazon charts. They were way up, way down, way up, way down. So it took them a while to get their foundation, the .com, and that's what's happening with crypto right now. So it is volatile. It is. I mean, you'll see some big swings, which you can use to your advantage, which you can use if you're in it for the long term. Well, there's only a limited amount. That would be a fact. And that's a good thing. Governments print more money. It destroys the value of the money and creates inflation. Bitcoin. There's only 21 million Bitcoin that will ever be created. Only 21 million. And that can't be changed. No one can make more Bitcoin. There are over 50 million millionaires in the world. There's not enough Bitcoin for every millionaire in the world. That's what gives it value. So that's why it can go up in value. There's a limited amount, a limited supply. I could dig up more gold, find more diamonds. Well, it's only for geeks. It's too hard to understand. I don't get it. Fiction. I mean, there was a time where it was kind of hard. You had to have a little understanding, maybe a little programming to get Bitcoin. But now it's easier than ever. Don't be like your mom or your grandma when the internet came out. I don't get it. I don't want to email. I don't want to understand it. What is social media? It's only a fad. It's not true. So if I can explain this to my mom, you can get this. You might not get it the first time completely, but just like anything else, it's not going away. And it's easier than ever to understand, number one, and number two, to get it, purchase it, to use it. Again, remember, PayPal, Venmo, have been selling Bitcoin, the big cryptocurrencies, for a long time, and now they're creating their own cryptocurrency. All right, let's do another one. Well, it's too late to buy. I missed out. I mean, how many times did you say that about Microsoft, Amazon, Apple? Hey, you don't want to fall behind this trend. They just go up. They just keep going up. They keep going up over the long term. That's why we buy stock. And it's not too late. In fact, the predictions for the next couple years is off the charts. I'll let you research that. And last number I saw earlier this year, that less than 5% of the people in the world own cryptocurrency. So that is fiction. Next one. Well, Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin, is unknown. Nobody knows who he or she is. And that is true. Kind of the fun thing about Bitcoin. This person didn't want to get known by governments, wanted to stay under the radar, created this a standalone thing, just set it up on the internet, and it basically runs itself. It's created value in Bitcoin, and I mean, people have speculations, but that's the fun part of it. He created Bitcoin in 2009, never been hacked, didn't want to be known, because he had a fear of governments and banking institutions, because he was going to change the way the game was played. Oh, what about this one? Well, Bitcoin's dead. I heard it. Okay, fiction. Bitcoin's been claimed dead over 300 times. You can send it to the websites. They keep track of it. Oh, it's dead. It's dead. It crashed. It's dead. Well, they said that about Amazon too. Oh, they didn't make a profit. They're no good. They're going to crash. No one's going to put their credit card on the internet. And of course, all that was proven wrong. What if the government bans Bitcoin? Well, I'll tell you that's a little fact and fiction. Can you really ban the internet? I mean, China tries to ban the internet at times, certain websites. They've tried to ban cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, but China is one of the biggest Bitcoin mining operations in the world. They have created their own cryptocurrency, and they've given permission to Hong Kong to be the mecca for cryptocurrency. So they could, I guess they could, or try to super tax it, or try their own cryptocurrency. But you know, when something's worth trillions of dollars, they want to tax it and get a piece of it. So it would be bad news for governments to do this because they would miss out on all the taxes for selling your cryptocurrencies, just like you pay taxes when you sell your stock. All right? Warren Buffett hates Bitcoin. Hey, I know here on the Success and Money Live, we talk a lot about Warren Buffett. We love Berkshire Hathaway stock. We love Warren Buffett. He's one of the brightest minds. He's a billionaire. He's giving back. He's very charitable. But he does. It is true. He absolutely hates, despises Bitcoin. And that's his investment philosophy. He didn't invest in .coms either because he didn't get it, didn't understand it. Warren Buffett, and this is a great philosophy, that's their philosophy, this is how they made billions of dollars, is they only invest things they understand. They understand Disneyland, they understand insurance, they understand underwear, and some of these basic things that people need. He does invest in things he didn't understand, and of course he didn't invest in .com either. He missed out on that, but it didn't matter for him. His philosophy is only invest in things I understand. So that's true. That is a fact. Well, my banker Fred said, my broker Mary said, Uncle Frank said, they don't know. They heard it from someone, heard it from someone, heard it from somebody. They don't know. So do your own research. And it's probably someone that's going to miss out on a commission, like a banker or stockbroker. This is going to disrupt their world. They've had nothing nice to say about it. And do remember with cryptocurrencies, you might not understand it the first time. We'll go in some more training, some more courses, but you don't have to understand how a car starts to drive a car. I just want you to think about, get your free Bitcoin, and once you understand it, earn your Bitcoin, and realize that this is not going away. It's the future. In fact, one of my neighbors, big time stock investor, it was probably about 4 or 5 years ago, I started looking at this, getting into it, doing it, and I was all excited about it. I'm like, what do you think? What do you think? And he just ripped me a new one. That's the dumbest thing. It's a scam. It's going under, you know. Oh, what about this? What about that? And Jim, like, really took me back. I'm like, wow. Because that's what he had heard. So fast forward 4 years later, he's like, can I talk to you? You know, I was wrong. How do I get involved? What do I do? I've had family members rip on it, take it apart, and then you get the text, you get the email. Well, how do I get involved? I want to change my mind. I want to start doing this. Happens all the time. So that is fiction. Don't listen to them. Do your own research. Because let me just say this. If Bitcoin went away, which I can never see that happen, but let's say it went away, the technology, that blockchain, that software behind it is here to stay. It's going to revolutionize almost everything and be a big part of the internet. Well, I heard there were thousands of altcoins. Now remember, altcoins is alternative coins, anything that's not Bitcoin. So all the other cryptocurrencies are known as altcoins. And that's true. And there's some bad players out there like we talked about. There's some bad ones, but there's a lot of good ones. Some are used for digital property. You've probably heard of NFTs. We'll do another training on that. Some of them are digital currencies. Some are using it for a digital platform. Some use a couple of those like we talked about, but they're out there. And that gives it a lot of validation, like this is going places, not just one or two. There's a lot of people that are getting into this space. Oh, my favorite, well, crypto doesn't do anything. Okay. Then you definitely know they have no clue. That is fiction right there. You can use it for banking. You can use it for digital property, meaning since it's trustless, meaning it always works. As an author, if I send you a digital book, you can send it anywhere. Now with cryptocurrencies or NFTs, I can send it and I know it's original. I know that it's real. I know that you paid for it. So musicians, digital baseball, football cards is all part of that world. You've probably heard of the metaverse. You can use it for voting. Magic voting where you know no one's cheated. You can use it for databases and healthcare, your medical records that no one else has access to. Only you, and you only share them with the doctors that you want to. And I can go on and on. The applications are endless. Well, blockchain is Internet 3.0. Talked a little bit about this. It is. It's the future of everything. Now, you think about the Internet, there was Internet 0. Started in, I think it was the 60s, where you could send an email. And if you were lucky, an attachment. Internet 1.0 were static websites. They display info, you could do search engine, but you couldn't do anything with it. You could get info, but that was about it. Now we're in Internet 2.0 right now, where it's interactive. I can do banking, I can make restaurant reservations. I mean, you already know what the Internet can do, that's 2.0. But the problem is it's centralized. I mean, think about it, Internet's pretty much owned by, 4 or 5 companies between social media, search engines, and a few others. The majority of the web's owned by a few companies, and they make all the money. When you search something on a search engine, you do a post on social media, they're making the money. Now, what Internet 3.0 is, it's powered by the blockchain. It's decentralized, so it's not just 2 or 3 companies that own it. It's owned by the people. So it's trustless, it's permissionless, everyone's involved, everyone shares. If I do a search, Google doesn't get all the money, it's shared with the user. YouTube doesn't get all the money, it's shared with the user. So I don't want to go too deep here, but just know that blockchain, the tech behind Bitcoin, is the future of the Internet. So how'd you do? You know a little bit more about crypto. I'm saying it's not going away. Is it a little more complicated than some things? Yeah. But you've got this. You can learn a little time. You're not going to get it 100% today, but you learned a little bit more. So again, this is not financial advice. Do your own research. We're going to teach you some new classes. We're going to get you involved in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. But open up your mind. I don't care what you heard. Open up your mind. Anyone can get involved. Anyone in the world can get involved. That's the power of this. Now, of course, be smart in your investment strategies. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. It's always good to diversify. But when you hear Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, blockchain, Web 3.0, now you know what they're talking about. Now you know when you hear things you can say, oh, that's fact. Oh, that's fiction. That is the key. So a little basic on crypto. We'll take deeper dives here in the future. But get to know it. It's not going away. Don't be your grandma like she was with the Internet. Oh, I don't get it. I don't understand it. Email, social media. How do I post? People said that, but eventually they had to come to grips and say, yeah, I better figure it out. And that's where this is right now. It's just the beginning. A wave is starting. Again, less than 5% of the people in the world have cryptocurrencies, and even less own Bitcoin. That's what makes it so valuable. That's why all these investment firms are finding ways to get in to do Bitcoin. Now, you don't need an investment firm. You can do it on your own, but a lot of their clients are requesting Bitcoin and are willing to pay them to do it for them. That's fine. They found a way to make money with it. You can do it that way, but do know with cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, you can do it on your own. And we'll teach you ways to do that. And of course, you can earn through the Success and Money Foundation. So get to know your crypto, take it to heart. Do your own research, open up your mind, and learn how to invest in your future. So there you go. Another stream of income, another way to make a difference for your family, for your future, for posterity, for your community. That's our goal here. Learn these skills, increase your income, help your family, change your community, and let's all go out and make the world a better place.
Thanks, Kurt. I just want to give you a couple of my 2 cents worth about crypto and Bitcoin. Remember, you have asset allocation. You're either going to loan or you're going to own things. You're either going to loan, meaning you're putting money in the bank, you're loaning money to the bank, you are doing bonds, you're doing a longer term CD, something like that. We call that the merry-go-round. It just goes around and around. It's very safe, doesn't go up, doesn't go down. It's just you get a rate of return on it. As part of your asset, the own things, you're going to own real estate, you're going to own stock. Those are a little bit more like the kiddie roller coaster. It's going to go up, it's going to go down. It's not going to have nearly the fluctuations. And then crypto. I mean, of all of $100 or 100 of something that you have, you're only going to have a very small portion of that into crypto. And if you do, and again, I'm not telling you what to do with your money, I'm just trying to get you exposed to it. That's only going to be a small portion of your whole overall asset allocation. Now, if you're going to do anything in the crypto space, there's three places that you can do it. One is if you put it in Bitcoin. The reason I like Bitcoin is the firstest with the mostest. That's a marketing term. So it was the first one there. It's one that has a limited number of coins that are out there. It's simply a way, it's the standard that people are going to be able to move money around the world. So Bitcoin is one that I would look at. Two is Ethereum. Ethereum is like Microsoft software. It's the software that all these other coins and stuff like that run off of. So it's basically the second one that I'd look at if I was going to do any would be that. The third one is the crapshoot. The third one is the high flyers, the altcoins, if you want to call them. If you want to invest in a few of those, you could. But remember, out of 100% of your money, a very small percentage is going to go into crypto, and of that, a small percentage might go into Bitcoin, some of it into Ethereum, and then some to the altcoins if you really want to. And again, investing is a game, and games are fun. So let's go have some fun with it. I would just open up a Coinbase account or a Binance account, and that's what I do. And again, I want to simplify. Now, some people are really excited about getting really deep into it. For me, it's just a small portion of our asset allocation. And the reason we bring it up is because we want you to be exposed to it, because it's out there. And one thing we want you to do is really understand how the system works. So thanks, Kurt. We're going to be right back in our last segment. We'll be right back in just a second. Okay, I think we've